Good morning. Trying to get this chat set up on my phone. Just a second. Me and electronics, boy, I tell you. Is this the right thing? Okay. Yep, there we go. Oh, how are you this morning? It's so dark in here. It's cloudy outside, so it's dark in here. This room has very bad lighting. So all of that went into how I had to set this room up to kind of keep enough light coming in. And I'm contemplating. I did brighten the light, but it's not bright enough, in my opinion. But I don't want it too bright. Kids are very sensitive to bright light. You know, I don't want it hospital bright, but it's dull in here. So, yeah, but it's cloudy outside. It rained yesterday evening and into the night. So it's just one dreary morning. But at least we had a couple of good days. So, I wonder who else is going to pop in. Doing good. It's dark here too. I think we're going to get rain. Oh, wow. I enjoy the rain, but sometimes it rains and it doesn't know how to stop. Shari Nicole, good morning. So when it gets like that, it's like, oh goodness. It's too wet outside when it stops raining, and it takes a couple days for it to dry up, and then the kids want to go outside and it's muddy, and that's more work on me. 'Cause I'm mopping floors and cleaning off the porches, and it's like, goodness gracious, will I get a break? I think I'm going to take advantage of that. I had started yesterday. I was in here cleaning up, and I'm getting ready to pull shelves away from the wall and um, sweeping my behind those things because that's just me. At least once a month, I pull this stuff apart and really, really go at it. So I think I did clean off the table yesterday, and it's it's a hot mess again. So, but at least it's on the table because there was stuff on the floor and all kinds of things. So, except for a couple of paper airplanes up the stairs, the floor is clean. I understand my children get their clothes muddy too. Yes, I swear they were outside digging a lake. They dug and dug and dug until they hit water. And I'm like, are you serious? So a big muddy puddle. Then they're finding stones to splash into the water all over everybody. Oh, goodness. Ooh, that's a big dog. That dog scared me. And now it's on my porch. It looks like what am I trying to say? Kind of looks like a snow dog, but it's brown. That's not the color either. It's a reddish brown, but he scared me. Wolf looking dog. So I don't know. I think I just wanted to get on here and toss some things around, just giving responses of chats and comments and things. Nothing really set to talk about, just to talk. So whatever you all want to talk about. Oh, well, my 3-year-old runs around straight for the mud puddles. Yes. And then, oh, my shoes are muddy. And I'm like, well, you knew that when you went and jumped in the puddle. Or you splashed. Did you not know that you're going to get muddy? Kids are too funny. So, sometime today, my desktop, will be resurrected from beyond, because I'll show you guys. So if you don't know, this is a power supply. So like I said, the whole thing does not need to be replaced or anything, but when I took from the other computer, the other desktop that the kids use, the first thing I checked was the power cord. And when it wouldn't power on with the power cord, that told me that this is what it was. So it's all detached from everything, and we got to get this in here. So it's not that, it's just got to be opened up. It's not that major. But yeah. That is the perk. I do not go. I have not in years gone to the store and purchased a computer. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's been years. Our computers are custom built for us. So, yeah. Yep, can't do it. I know it's a lot. It's major, and a lot of people don't understand. And they try to go for the cheapest thing on the market, and it just doesn't do. Especially laptops, same thing. It just, if you know anything and you really need it, you know to invest. And, you have to think about what you need the computer for to determine what type you want to use. And so since I'm sitting here at the desktop, because I do a lot of storing and downloading, that's why I use my desktop mainly. I shared, I'm going to say this time last year. If you all don't know, I'm a writer. I've been a writer. And I'm looking at that dog. And I had talked about laptop. I don't know how long have laptops been on Earth. And you would think that I would have a laptop all these years. When you have children that need things, a laptop is very, very not needed. It's just extra. It's extra. And I just cannot justify because somebody always needed something. And I know a lot of people are going to think that's weird because, people consider these things necessities. They are luxuries by far. Laptop, iPhone, S phone, G phone, whatever these things are, they are luxuries. And it just, people are so careless with these things, especially their laptops. And with the kids letting them use the stuff. And I'm like, do you realize that you cannot repair these things? And yeah, there's businesses that will sell you, oh, we'll replace the screen and we'll do this and that. You cannot. If your laptop dies, it is gone. If you put money into it, you pretty much sold out because you're going to have to replace it. Because they're so delicate, you don't know the internal damage. You may just be looking at a broken screen, a cracked screen. But inside, once it falls, there is a lot of damage done. But yeah, they have businesses that tell you that we can fix them. We can do this, that, and other because it's marketing. So, yeah. But last year, I finally made that investment. So, on my laptop. That's how I do my live chats, on my laptop. And I use my laptop to write. My laptop is clean. I won't put anything on it. That's why I said if I have to, never mind that, all my pictures and files and things are stored on the other computer. If I have to download the software just to edit, to upload for here, I don't want to do it because I want this laptop clean. I don't want to have to worry about memory and storage and bugs and, I'm saying bugs, but viruses, stuff like that. It's clean. It is basically brand new condition. I got a ThinkPad 310 from Office Max. They were bringing out the new models in January. And this one, they were running, I think when they first came out, they were like 8 something. They had marked it down to 4 something. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I have. And so I'm careful. I get nervous. Even, I try not to bring it out when the kids are around because it took me all these years to get it. So, something happens to the desktop. It's crashed. It's been, all kind of stuff. Everything's been restored. Everything's been backed up. Everything's been transferred a couple times. So I'm not worried about losing anything. Nothing, we can get it restored. Like I said, I'm thankful I don't have to pay for that because it's expensive. So, yeah. But yeah, my kids, I had to talk to them, and a couple of them have been through a couple of laptops. And I'm like, dude, we can't. And, I'm not buying anything refurbished, anything like that, because really you don't know the damage. And again, you can't fix these things. You have to buy another one. I have a desktop computer for sale. I just don't want to throw it away because I ain't nothing wrong with it. You should, let me see, Craigslist, maybe post it in the homeschool section. I don't know if you're affiliated with any community centers. Excuse me. But those types of places are always looking for computers, shelters, women's shelters, things like that. Somewhere it would really benefit somebody. If you have a church around, you could give it to them and they would put it in the right hands of a needy family. I just use the computer to do printouts. I just discovered that I can use my phone to print stuff out. Yes, you can. Yeah. And see, I'm the same way with my phone. My kids are like, Mom, why do you still have that phone? Do you know you have to, like I said, I don't know what this iPhone, S phone, whatever these things are. Not me. One, those, I don't even know what those things are called. They put those chips in those phones. Now I know droids and stuff like that have the chips in them, so they're monitoring. But those phones are very, very high tech. I'm not, and they always break. Everybody's always talking about how those phones break, the screens break, and the next thing you know, they got the new S phone 18, coming out, and it's like, wait a minute, didn't you just bring out this one? Why you keep launching all these different phones? And people just go for them. If I would still have my BlackBerry if it did not just go. It was the trackball that went crazy. I was fine. I don't upgrade phones like that. Because it was fine. It worked for me. But the phone I have now, I have had it for a while. And the only reason why I won't upgrade it is because this one has Gorilla Glass. The last one I had, the screen cracked. And this one won't crack with that Gorilla Glass. So as long as it does what I need it to, I don't care what it looks like. I don't need all those features and all of that. That's why I have computers. I just need to be able to call. So I'm not about paying that ridiculous this, that, and the other, and then having to pay the phone bill and the things break. I had, a couple times I had to go get new phones, and then I don't know, something was wrong with them, and I'm back in the store the next day or so, Oh, that's another tip. Do not order your phones over the internet. Even if it's from the store, don't do it. Those are refurbished. Go into the store and buy your phone. And that, I'm doing good. Let's see. Oh boy, I just have prepaid phone. Just simple. Yeah, that's what this one is. It's a no contract. It's the cheapest plan I could get. And I'm not tied to anything. For years we had Sprint, and I grew up in a Sprint household because I knew Sprint when Sprint was U.S. Sprint. That's how long we had Sprint. We had Sprint home phone, but Sprint got ridiculous. So I had to tell them goodbye. You can no longer have my business. I don't need all of that. It's just a headache. But I feel for the people having to go to the Apple store every other day, and sometimes they're not even in convenient places. Yeah, I have unlimited whatever, so I'm fine. I want to say, I want to see who else is on popping here. The new computers are expensive. We can't afford to buy a new computer. We try to use what we have and just repair. Exactly. Yeah, there are things that you can, repair on them. The main thing is just people try to do too much on them and don't realize, the capacities and things like that. And that's how they end up going. And yeah, they are quite expensive. And sometimes people just go for the cheapest, and it ends up being outdated faster than they think. It just they grow out of it. It's because they needed to do more, and they didn't. They don't have an idea that you're only limited to so much. Yeah, house phone is just as much as a prepaid. Yeah, this house phone is in this package, and I just every month, oh my gosh, I get so tired of paying for internet. I was just like, what did I do when I got this internet back? It's the monster, and I have been. That's been my nemesis. I've been trying because they have these things, these internet companies, these neighborhoods, they have that stuff on lock, and there's no way around it. I was trying to downgrade, get rid of the house phone, get rid of the cable, and they wanted to charge me $2 less to get rid of those things and just keep the internet. And I said, are y'all crazy? $2 less? What? And it's over $100. What? Who does that? And there's another company, but they don't offer. You can get phone and you can get cable, but you can't get internet. So that stuff is based off demographics. They make you pay. If I was in another neighborhood, oh yeah, they would definitely be able to service me. Yeah, they make you pay for that stuff. So I am stuck for the moment tell it rained. Definitely. Wow. If you guys noticed the cable company, it's just, one dominant company taking over the nation. That's crazy. They have others, but they are taking over the whole nation. And that is not on accident. Mm, I think I hear somebody up. Maybe. We shall see. Maybe not. We don't have cable or internet. It's too expensive. We live in the sticks and it's like $90 each. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Let's see if that'll take care of that. Yeah, I don't blame you at all. See, these companies know that people want their service and they don't care the expense. They're going to pay for it. If they have something that people want, and that's just how the world works. They're going to, people will complain and all kinds of stuff, but in the end, they want their service, so they will pay whatever it is. And like I said, it's a luxury. It's definitely a luxury. The man tried to sell me all kinds of, whatever when he came to talk about this cable. And I said, man, I got rid of cable like 7 years ago. So there's not a package you can sell me, especially with the same stuff. I'm looking at the same stuff on the TV is, when I got rid of it. What makes this so good that I can put this money into this thing again. We're not even actively at home to be sitting here watching TV. We have things to do. But it did become a little more convenient for me with the kids, especially with the two of them, and being able to print out things that I find. So that made me, convenience, convenience sales. But it's not something that I could say, oh, I can't live without. We can live without it. We can definitely live without it. This is our one luxury here. Good morning, Leslie. Good morning, everybody. Shari says. So, let's see. What did I want to say? Is anybody in the market for home buying? There are a lot of things that I have experience on, and some things, some people know and they just, it's not always in a chat or in a comment or anything, but just thought I would toss some things around that if anybody needed some help, if you're just thinking about it, or whatever, I can definitely help you in that aspect. Some of you know I did back when I was 20. That was a goal of mine that I set, buying a home. And 21, I had built my first home by 21. So I've owned 3 homes, all brand new. So I do have some experience. To the naysayers, I'm not qualified. Yeah, I do. Um, yeah, and that's very rare for somebody to say they, at that young of an age. Um, let's see, blessings, queen. Well, that's been a topic here lately. We rent. We need help. I don't know where to even begin. If you post some videos, that would be a blessing for us. All my family members own homes, but nobody's pointing the way. First of all, you have to. This day and age is very hard. I'm not really recommending purchasing because it's very hard and the economy is so upside down. It's crazy. Um, but what I can say is a lot of people are still constantly relocating to Texas. It is a, I don't want to say the best, but it is a great place to start. Because we are so big here, it's not so competitive. There are always jobs. There's plenty of land, plenty of homes, and everybody I know that migrated here because nobody really is from Texas. Everybody just transplanted. There are very few people that are actually live here that are from here. Um, you start over. I mean, we came 20 years ago, left for a year and a half. We went back to California. We had to get out of California. We came right back. We came right back, bought another house, built another house. It just, yeah. So other parts of the country, I hear, it's you have to factor in food, you have to factor in gas, you have to factor in, a lot of things, and people don't do that. They just, I want to buy a house, and that's it. Food is cheap out here. It's very cheap. Everybody eats. It's cheap. I watch grocery hauls and things, and I see what other people buy, and for the price they pay, I'm like, golly. That's one of the reasons we had to get out of California because food is too expensive. We couldn't even eat. And we don't go out to eat. We stopped that a long time ago. So, yeah, food was crazy. And then I brought a friend of mine out here a few years later after we came, and we went grocery shopping. And she was looking at the food like, is this the real price? Is this on sale? You know, and I took her to a couple of different stores, and I'm like, no, this is the real price. And she was like, what? Girl. And I say, yeah, because, we knew what we came from in the Bay Area, California. It was expensive. And we also lived in Southern California. So expensive. I grew up around the United States. Just crazy. I went through program in Cali. See, what we got out here would be $500,000 in California with no yard. So it was just like, we can't do that. And, living on top of somebody, basically, because you don't get anything. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Went through credit class and home buying steps. When I got into position and got married. See, a lot of things have changed You all noticed, the economy went upside down, like right when Obama got in office, and a lot of people that were able to purchase homes ended up losing those homes because back then they were just giving out homes, just giving them out left and right, and people, that were not even knowledgeable, they didn't know what they were doing, they didn't know what they were getting into, they just got the home, and they couldn't afford it in the end. I was born and raised in Texas. That's all I know. Girl, yeah. This is home. I was born in Memphis, raised everywhere, but Texas is home. It just, yeah. This is it. All my family in Texas. We are alone. Yeah, we were. Well, I can't say that because we did have family in California, but it was just crazy. When we were up North California, we were the only ones up there, but still it was only a 6 hour drive. But we were the ones making that drive. So it was just like, okay, we got to get out of here. We can't raise our kids in this environment. It's just, too much. The violence. My cousin told me what we pay for rent. How much you pay for rent? If if that's not too personal, I can tell you what you can get. Ooh, you could buy a fat house. Yeah, I think let me see. When we were up north, we were renting a place. Um, Mind you, income was upper. It was 3 digits. Um, when we had to go up north, and yeah, it was in the lower 3 digits, and that was pretty good for basically fresh college kids. 1,200. Oh, girl. Yes, yeah. Y'all could be living fat. Um, but yeah, I think we were paying close to 1,000. And the thing is, we couldn't even live in San Francisco because it's too expensive. Um, my husband worked in Belmont at the time. He worked for Nikon, the camera company, and we couldn't find anywhere, you know, um, close enough and not and be able to afford. And so 3 hours away, we were in Stockton. 3 hours. That was a 3 hour drive, uh, one way. Okay, one way. So that was a beast. It was a beast, and I think it was almost $1,000 in rent. I mean, it was a nice place and everything, but I of course I wasn't getting ready to go into the city by myself and little kids and babies and pregnant and all kind of stuff. So and we didn't know anybody. We didn't know anybody. I ended up, I met a couple of my neighbors. We got the kids in sports, and I met my good friend, and that was all. We couldn't even go anywhere. It was crazy. And when we did go into the city, of course, it was just a basic, like we were tourists in San Francisco, going to all the places. We did, it's pretty. It's pretty. I wouldn't live there again, but visiting, I've gone back many times to go visit. Um, I would like to take the kids one day. We would go to places like Monterey Bay, go to the aquarium, go to the museums, all those standard places. Go have dinner or lunch or whatever on the San Francisco Pier, up on the Alcatraz, the Golden Gate Bridge, things like that. But yeah, we cannot, we can't really do it out there. Domestic cries. Hi, how are you? We used to live in Killeen. Yes, stationed in Fort Hood. We rent it out now that we live. Yes, I encourage anybody, if you build anything out here, do not sell it. Don't sell in Texas. You will come up. Keep it. Keep it and rent it. Mm, yes, we left the bay. We would be paying double. Yeah, and then when you factor in your gas, because everything is not close. Like I said, if you're looking at a 3-hour drive just into the city, one way, that's a lot of gas. And the gas out there is high. So it's just too much. And then you have to eat. That's a small fortune. Good morning. How are you, Sylvia? So, yeah, we couldn't even, we couldn't live. It's just like it's time to go. We got to get out of here so that we can live. But the first thing you want to do is make sure your credit is straight. If you are really thinking about that, your credit has to be straight. You got to get those scores up, and you need to think. I've heard, um, the case where the one parent is staying home and they are, needing income and thinking, okay, I can go back to work so we can buy this house. That's not going to work today. It's not going to work. When you have kids, it's not going to work. Because, see, what you're not factoring in is your income that you're going to go and pick up with this job. You have to be able to put all of that into this house, and that doesn't happen because you have to have gas to go to work. You have to have lunch. You have to have clothes. You have to get that child to and from school, or children, they have to eat. You're going to have to take off for doctor's appointments, so factor in that time off from work. You're going to have to be off because you're going to get sick, and that's just the tip of it. So when you start doing all of that, you can't say, I'm going to take my whole paycheck every month and put it in the bank. It just doesn't happen. You have to factor in when you come out of renting and you're going to purchase, if it's not a new construction, even if it is a new construction, you have to factor in the repairs that are going to come to that. On top of other repairs, you have appliances that break down. You have vehicles that break down. So if you're already struggling in that aspect, when those things are happening now while you're renting, it's going to be compounded when you own a home. There's no landlord or repairman that you can call and say, come fix my stuff. You have to fix it. And that's the thing that people do not look at. And it's like, we're in this home now and we can't, we didn't expect this. You have to make sure you get a good inspector. You may have to get 2 if you're buying into an existing home, because you don't know what you're moving into. You have no idea. When you're building a home, you want to be very careful. You want to make sure you're going to that home and checking on that home on a regular basis. After they pour that foundation, you want to go watch what they're doing. You want to see how fast they're building that house. We had to learn to stay away from certain builders. There were builders out here throwing homes up. We came originally to Dallas. KB was really big. We learned very quickly that KB was not credible. Kaufman and Broad started doing all kind of stuff. So I would never, ever, ever purchase a Kaufman home. They are very cheap. All over Texas, they are very cheap. But cheap is what you're going to get, cheap. So we went with credible builders and watched. Now, I didn't get to watch when we built the first one. I didn't get to watch that. My husband had to watch because I was still living in California at the time. So I had to pick everything. I just said, this is what I want. Find me the biggest house. And there was nothing there. It was an up and coming neighborhood. And I said, just get the biggest plan that they have. That's another thing. People are buying homes, and yeah, you have to think about, you can only purchase what, hey, love, you can only purchase what you can afford. But what I see is people have 3 kids. No, they have 2 kids, or they may have 3 kids. They want to go buy a 3-bedroom home. You have 2 kids, you want to buy a 3-bedroom home. You have 1 kid, you want to buy a 3-bedroom home. Don't do it. You're going to grow out of that home very, very fast. And when it comes time to sell that home, you're going to have a hard time selling it, because the same way you bought that home, the next person coming in is going to look at that home, and they're going to, if they're smart, they're going to ask questions. Why are they selling this home? Now, there's other stuff I can tell you about that, but they're going to wonder why you're selling that home. And if they have an inkling that the home, you grew out of that home, they're going to keep going. You get the biggest house you can afford. 2 kids, 4 bedrooms, bonus room. I mean, I went big. I'm like, just give me whatever. It was, let me see. Gosh, I can't determine how big that home. One day I'm going to show you guys a picture. But it was, so many people wanted that first home I built, because it was the biggest in the neighborhood. But I think it was right under 80 grand. It was right under 80 grand. And military, we, took advantage of military. So that's a good thing. So if you all are, thinking about that, take advantage. We ended up having to relocate, and so you take out one loan or get approved for one loan, and then you have to go start all over again in a different area. It was a little more expensive. We got about the same thing. Well, the first home was it was a ranch home. The second one was 2-story. We got about the same thing. You got a little bit bigger yard. And actually, I didn't build the second one. The second one was a spec. It was already built, and it was just sitting. So it was still brand new, but it was just one they had to fill the lot on the block. The neighborhood was still new. And I had a choice. We were looking at other homes in, other areas, and I didn't like those. So I did pick this one, and the design, it still worked for us. So we got in that one for just about 81. So it's still not that much of a difference. We didn't have to put anything into it. The home was inspected, it was approved, and we didn't have any issues. So like I said, you have to be careful. That way, make sure you get some decent inspectors, because, some people pass a whole bunch of stuff up, and, existing homes, you might have plumbing issues that are not disclosed, and foundation issues, just all kinds of things. And then here you are thinking, yeah, you might want to buy a fixer-upper, but if you have major issues in that home, you're going to be in over your head. We got approved and everything. It was a Horton home in Selma. Horton is reputable. Horton, I can tell you that. I'm trying to think. Horton. Yeah, Horton is reputable. We looked at Horton. The first home was a choice home. I'm trying to think. I think the second home was a Horton home. if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember all that stuff, but I think, and I know I have some pictures of that house, but I think Horton, yeah, yeah. If our second one wasn't Horton, I know Horton is good, but see, a lot of people don't know all about that. They just go in there and I want to buy a house, and the realtor will sell you anything, and you have no idea. But you have to do your research. Same way I talk about doing research for curriculum, I have to really dig deep because that's money, and I can't afford to be upside down like that. How was the initial move? Well, it was good because I didn't have to do anything. I mean, fortunately, it was a company move, so it was good. I got on a plane. The people came and loaded up the semi, and I got on the plane with the kids. That was the hard part because I had babies and car seats and all kind of stuff, and I had a layover in Arizona. Um, so yeah, it just I made it. They helped me out with the car seats and the babies and the everything, but I didn't have to pack anything, so it was not that bad. Now the second time when we moved back, we had to do that, but what we did was we the heck did we do? I don't know. We moved ourselves by ourselves, and we came back and got my mom because he left my mom in California. I had a little brother. My little brother was like 6 years younger than me, and he had not graduated, and she was waiting for him to graduate so that she can move. And we had been in California since I was like 12. Like after we came from overseas, we went back to my grandmother for a while in Memphis, and then we ended up in California again. So from 12 until I got married is when I spent that time there. And we got out because it's like we're having kids and we need a home. And I think rent there was about $700 for a 2-bedroom apartment when we were in Southern California. So that's a lot. Back up here. But yeah, moving ourselves, you know how that is when you have little kids. It's just you just gotta go. So we downsized what we could, and just came on back and did what we had to do. The first time was pretty easy because everything was basically put up until we got the place, but we did have a limited time they were putting us up and the residents in. So it was like, okay, let's get a realtor and let's go look at these places. We're going to build let's see, domestic cries. We're going to build in the future, and you're right about home inspections. Yeah. Yep. We laid foundation for them. Yeah. I was about to buy a home in 2012 when we decided not to. Glad we didn't. A few months later, my hubby had heart problems, so he had to leave his job. Yeah, you have to think about those things. You have to, you really have to think long term what's going to happen. Can you really do this? Not to discourage anybody, but if you're working off one income, what happens if somebody gets sick or hurt? Are you able to, because that's your home, what are you going to do? You may have to uproot your whole family. You may have to leave your neighborhood. You may have to lose your possessions. Are you really that vested? What did you research to know? Well, it was really based on the position. He was just applying for a position. Like I said, semiconductor. You guys know AMD, Microsoft, all that kind of stuff. We lived in Silicon Valley. So um, when you have positions like that, of course, they're going to be high paying. Fortunate because he was young, went from high school to the military, but then got out and ended up going to DeVry for this engineering degree. Um, so it was a good thing, you know. He basically applied for positions, and the position was in Texas. So that's where we went. I mean, he applied everywhere, but this one came up, and then it was a company thing. You know, back now, companies, nobody has the money. You got to get out here. I'm going to give you the job, but you got to get here on your own. And this is like 20 something years ago. So it's, yeah. Now it's like, oh, we have to move. What are we going to do? How are we going to get there? Where are we going to stay? And I just encourage people, fix your credit and just downsize. That's the first thing. You know, you're upside down. You want to move. You need to get rid of everything you have, everything, and just move. Because the more you try to move with you and you have the family, you got to think about the moving truck, the moving gas, the other vehicle, your food, your lodging, that right there. And then you have to think about, you have to rent the place. If the place is not big enough, you know, you need to start a place. You have to put your stuff in storage. So now you have rent, you have a new storage bill. You may not have your job. So get rid of what you can. That way, that's one less problem you have to deal with. Breakfast is ready, so I'm going to hop off. Well, thank you. Catch the replay. Yes. Yeah, you want to get rid of what you can because, you know, those things that you purchased, you can start all over again. Start all over. Let me see. So, going into the house, do you buy new furniture? No. Do you buy new appliances? No, you can't start, you know, when you're, um, I'm gonna take this YouTube for example. When you see, if you follow people and you see this house tours and all of this, and you see them, oh, we got a brand new vehicle. Mm-mm. When you are going into a home loan, you cannot make any purchases. They have to be cash. Okay. A lot of these homes, these you know, big family YouTubers and stuff, um, those homes are rented. Okay. You can't have any kind of debt. You have to have everything paid off. So you're not able to you can't buy anything. You know, everything has to be clean for a certain amount of period. I'm gonna tell you, you will be in the mortgage office getting ready to close on your house, and guess what they do? Go call the bank, and they're checking your account right then and there. I've heard of cases where people are at signing and they cannot sign because they thought, okay, now we're getting ready to go sign. They went and go and, you know, get some furniture or something. You can't do it. You cannot do it. You can't. You have to take, you know, don't plan to change anything in the home if it's existing or whatever. Good morning. Um, you got to wait till you get in there. Wait till you get in there. You know, it's nice to be able to fix it up and all of that, but mm-mm. You take everything that you have, even if it's empty. When I did a home tour on my last one. Um, and my living room, well, basically not my living room, the whole house. We had beds. Yeah, we had beds and just little knickknack stuff. But my living room was not furnished for about 2 years into that home. Yeah, about 2 years because I was picky. I was tired of the kind of furniture we were getting, and I just didn't. I was really picky. I didn't want cushions and stuff because you know when you have kids, you get tired of replacing stuff. That's why I don't have anything now because I just got tired of replacing stuff. But I ended up finding what is considered patio furniture. Is that heavy wicker rattan type furniture that you would find at Chair King. Um, it had cushions, but they were or pillows. It's meant to be outdoors, so you can wash the stuff. But I think I had found this set I wanted at Pottery Barn or something, and of course that was over a couple grand, and I ended up finding it at Costco, and we got all the stuff there. So I furnished the house. That's what I have, and you know it worked, but it took me a couple of years. I wasn't trying to furnish the house right away. It was too big. Um, it was. Let me see. I'm gonna tell you wrong. We had 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 3-car garage. I got the biggest lot, the corner lot. I ended up extending the house because see, you know, when you put me in charge of buying and you're not there, yeah. Yeah. I went in there and we got approved for a certain amount. It was no problem. They were Legacy was giving out all sorts of things when we purchased this home, and you know, upgrades and stuff. I didn't do a lot of upgrading. That's another thing people get into. You get into the home and you want to start upgrading this and granted this and granted that. I didn't do any of that because I wanted to change out my own stuff. I didn't even want carpet in the home, but it's standard. I didn't even want the grass, the sod in the backyard. I wanted AstroTurf. They could not understand because I was getting ready to do a lot in that backyard. It's huge. Like I said, there's a video up. You can just search my name and house tour. But they were like AstroTurf because y'all know that's not real grass. But there was gonna be ice skating rinks, sports arenas, and all kind of stuff in the backyard. We also had HOA, so that's another thing. Homeowners fees you have to consider. But yeah, I was gonna pull up the carpet and stain the concrete. So I wasn't upgrading to Berber carpet or any of that. I just wanted the cheapest carpet. So I go in there and I got a lot of you know, it was a lot of incentives. And then they said, I saw the garden tub. I wanted the garden tub with the jets and all that kind of stuff. And it was a couple $1,000s. And I was by myself, you know. My husband's on the road. We in turn bought. See, we sold in California or sold and purchased was able to put some money into purchase this other house. So I said, yeah, give me this. I said, how much is it? I think he said $1,500. I said, yeah, I want the tub. So I got the tub because it was my house and I was building it, and you know, yeah, it was not going to hurt anything. So I said, give me the tub. And then in the master bedroom, there was a bay window option. How much is the bay window? $1,500. Give me the bay window. You know, give me the bay window. So I got my bay window and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, when you start, you know, talking upgrades and things like that in these homes, if you're building them yourself, you need to be able to negotiate with these builders. Of course, in an existing home, you won't have that, but you want to make sure when you go into an existing home that the layout is exactly how you want it. It's going to flow for your family. There's enough room. Like I said, if you buy a home that's too small and you outgrow that home very quickly, you're going to have a hard time selling that home. We had to, you know, staging. You want to get a realtor when it's time to sell. We called the same realtor back that sold us the first one. and said, or the second one and said, hey, come help us, because we trusted him. And we had to stage it. I was at the time had childcare. Yeah, I had started. So there were a lot of toys. We had to get rid of some of that stuff and I left a sign on the table that said, this is what this did. So that they, the people would, when they came to show the home, they would understand that that was the nature. But you have to get rid of, basically pack your home and put things in storage, because you want that home to look empty. And, so that the people coming in won't think that you just outgrew that home, because that's a major downfall. It was just down to the closet. We had small closets. We learned to I had a red sweater. So that red sweater, and I don't even like red, but that red sweater was like the first thing in the closet, because everybody's going to gravitate, look at that red sweater and not look at really how small that closet was. You just going to look at the red sweater. So it's just little bitty things you have to do. And that's the same thing when you go into a home and you're looking into one that you're buying. You need to really, really pay attention to that home, and kind of think, seller standpoint, why are they selling a home? Yeah, I just, I learned to get as big as you can afford. And in Texas, it's easy to do that. You can get big for little. So I think I ended up doing, the last one was about 190,000 for all of that. I want to say we had a quarter of an acre, probably a little more than a quarter of an acre. I'm going to look at over, I'm going to say 4,000 square feet. So, yeah, you can come up out here. Versus renting, we had rented a home before that and we're paying $1,200. And it wasn't that big, but it was a stepping stone. So still, you can get, matter of fact, that was the home I painted the mural in. That wasn't our home. I painted that mural on the wall. If you all saw that video, that was a rented home. And again, I had the kids' childcare in there. So yeah, that was after we came back from California the second time. Let me see. What did we do? I said never sell. We sold the spec. I didn't want to sell the spec home. It's expensive in my area. You don't get a lot for your money. Yeah. I did not want to sell that house because I knew that we got that house for very cheap and the area was going to boom. And I didn't want to sell it. I'm like, let's just keep the house, go rent it out. But because we were going so far, we were still young. He didn't know anything about, we really didn't know anybody, trust anybody enough. And we kind of felt nervous about entrusting it to a rental company to run, because rental companies are not that, they don't check on your houses. They just want your money. I stayed with the kids. He left, went back to California, and I stayed in the house for 5 months. It took 5 months to sell it. And that's quick, but I didn't want to sell it. But we walked away with, I want to say probably about 15 grand. So, we didn't lose anything. But looking back, we would have never sold that house because, we would have still had that income. We had to turn around and come back a year and a half later. We would have had that property and been able to take even more money and put into the next one. So you have to, you got to know how to flip it, keep it. When you're ready to sell it, don't sell it if you want to upgrade. You want to You want to keep it and rent it out. That's what let me hold this up. That's what I was old show on HGTV that was good called Property Ladder. Yeah, nobody was nobody really was listening to the host. It showed the inside and out of home owning and selling, and I missed that show. Yes, I remember Property Ladder. Yeah, I remember that. Um, yeah, we had looked in, just other parts of the country, and at one point I was thinking about going to Atlanta. I like the homes in Atlanta, and I don't know, it just felt right to stay here. So, yes, in Texas, you can get your bang for your buck. Buying a house in Chicago is expensive versus Texas. Yeah, I kind of stay south because north is crazy expensive. It's crowded. It's the jobs are not that plentiful. So, yeah, I just did not want to go too far out. My granny, Leslie says, my granny sold the house she raised me in. She lived in Skyline Hill. She always says she regrets selling that big house. Being set free, my grandma is selling now because her house is old, plus gentrification is heavy in the area, so she's going to get a lot of money. So, well, she says, especially since I have all these kids. Yeah, yeah, you don't want to sell. If at all, keep it in the family, and that way there's income. Our goal was to buy a home for each one of the kids. That was the MO. That's why we kept buying, kept buying, kept buying. We weren't losing anything. That way they could have a place. Um, if they didn't want to, if they needed a place. And so, but yeah, you want to also keep in mind when you're buying, especially if you're buying a new construction, you're building that home. You have the heating and the cooling. That's another factor. People don't think about that. Your bills are going to change. Your like I said, your homeowner fees. Our homeowners fees would go up every year or so, and it got up to like $650. Okay, but we had, decent everything. There were 3 schools within the area, and that was the reason why I capitalized on that land. My mom actually lived because it was in the country. Back set, there was nothing there. They put up her property. She got a mobile home, and then they put the school up. And there was nothing else. It was just land. And I kept saying, they're going to build. They're going to start building. And we waited until they built because they said they're going to put 3 schools, middle, high school, elementary school, right there. So they were all right next to each other. So because we lived on the corner up the street were the schools. So I'm like, yeah, this works. Basically it's a bedroom community. So there was really nothing, but they started to build things. There's all kind of stuff, all kinds of stuff there now. But taxes, the property taxes, that's another thing. Your property taxes go up. Okay. And a lot of people ended up upside down majorly just in property taxes. And they started selling because they couldn't even do the taxes. On my home, I think we started at, and we didn't, you can get your taxes written into your mortgage. So it's just, okay, you're looking at a mortgage. It's something else I got to go back into. But you're looking at your mortgage and they will factor in your property taxes. Or you can come out of pocket, at the first of the year. And that's what we chose, to come out of pocket. And the first year was 7 grand. So 7 grand that you have to front for your taxes to own that home. Not everybody can do that and still be eating, you know. Um, but by that time, we owned a business and 3 digits, upper 3 digits. So, as far as income, it was okay. Um, and then I ran my own business. So, yeah, we were good. What was it, the property taxes? By the time, I think a couple years later, it had gotten up on ours. It was 8,500. My neighbors had the same bill, but they didn't have the same land and they didn't do all the altercations I did to my home. I stretched it. I stretched that home so much that they told me when it was time to pour that the house wouldn't fit. And I'm like, what? You sold me this and you're saying it won't fit because of all the modifications? Sell me the lot next door. They can't do that. But, I said, well, I bought it and this is how I designed it and this is how I want it. And then they called me back and they were like, we were able to do it. And I'm like, yeah, you going, you got my money. You going to build my house. But, yeah, I had, I went all out on that one. All out. So, yeah, they were up 7,500, and it was like, I can't, it's too much, and then you think about your interest rates. We had I would say high interest rate because I had a neighbor that had the same plan kind of before, I modified mine, and they came from, actually, they were Hurricane Katrina survivors. So they got in under that 2.1 interest rate. So they were cool, and it was like, wow, we had high interest rates. So, there's little bitty things that you don't think about. You have to think about, going in the earnest money. When you go in, you find what you like with your realtor and whatnot. They want you to put down like $500. That's kind of like a security deposit that will roll over into your down payment. But $500 cash, that's just going to sit there. Some places it could be more than that. If you change your mind, you'll get it back. But, can you even do that to start? You got to think about your closing costs. If you're buying an existing home, sometimes sellers will pay part of the closing cost. Sometimes you are having to get some more money. You have to, you're closing, you're signing your closing papers, and you still have to pay. So they might tell you at the last minute, we need another $3,000. So what are you going to do? You have to have that money. So that's why I said, if you're thinking about, oh, I'm just going to go back to work, if the child is at home, homeschool, I'm going to put the child in school so I can go to work. You have to be able to save that whole check, all of it. Okay, and in your husband's check, you got to, be able to save more than what you're saving, because obviously that's the one that's taking care of everything. So if you can't do that, it's not even feasible to say, I'm going to go back to work and we're going to buy a home. That's not going to work. Not unless you go live with somebody. And even then, I don't know anybody, it's rare that you're able to live with somebody scot-free. Taxes are insane. Yeah. Let's see. You are a blessing. I am glad you are sharing wisdom. I want to be well over ready. Yeah, when my husband buys a home, he doesn't want a death mortgage. With the mortgage, you are basically working till you die to pay it off. It's better just pay. Exactly, man, set free. Yeah. And that's how the economy is today. And with this man in office now, and see, back then they blamed Obama for doing all that. He didn't do all that. He was set up. He just had to take the fall. He was set up because people are already in over their heads. But they made it so easy. They were just handing out houses because that would help the economy, the more buyers. And he took the fall for all of this. So, but now it's very, very hard. Rent steadily going up. People can't, they can't live. Jobs are becoming scarce. Food is going up, and it's bad quality. So, yeah, you have to think of, every little detail, and after you get in that home, all the things that you might want to do to the home, even upgrading things, you have to get approval from people. You can't just start uh, ripping stuff apart, so it's a lot. It is definitely a lot. But if you are in a position to just purchase land and build on your own, that's why so many people are going for this tiny house thing. Build it on your own. Build it on your own. I talked about how my dad, with his own two hands, okay, his own money, he no contractor, no. Mm-mm. The land is ours. He constructed his own house. He said, this house is here. If y'all need this house, it's here. Okay. He took parts from other existing homes that he had, and just, whatever money he could get, um, he would go buy whatever he needed, whether it was a door or a window or, whatever, and added that right onto the house. And so, yeah, and I'm like, wow, he didn't ask somebody to do anything. He did it on his own. Every nail. You know. So if you can do it yourself, if you can trade, because a lot of people uh, have talents that you never think. Somebody might be your friend, might be a contractor. You might, be a chef. They need to eat. You need a home. Start trading services. Everybody will be happy. Tiny homes and the manufactured homes. Yes. Yeah, my dad had a manufactured home, and he took some of the parts off of that and put it on the other house, and I'm just like, you built this house? Really? And he said, yep, I built it. So nobody can take it from us. Um, yeah, we unfortunately own a lot, but a lot of people don't think like that. They just want to go and buy what's there. Um, yeah, we were smart enough, as a family to purchase land and build our own. That way nobody can take it from us. Even if nobody wants to live there, because it is in sticks, um, it's ours, and we're not going to get rid of it. So, and, um, yeah, you just have to, it's unfortunate that that's the way things are these days, but that's, commercialism, and that's the way society wants things. You know, money turning hands, prices, and things like that. That's set by us. Buying habits, spending. We do that. We control all of that. So as long as people are going to want those things, there's going to be a market for them, no matter how much they become. Electricity. We paying for electricity and water. Nowhere in the Bible that stuff was free. So it's just crazy how man put his hands in things, and things got haywire. Sound like rain. Wisdom from generation to generation. Yes. Yep. They say, give me my 40 acres. A lot of people don't even know what to do with the 40 acres once they get it. I want my kids to make tiny homes to live in when they grow up. They can buy cheap land and put it on the land. Yes, Cynthia. Definitely teach them. Teach them, if they come into some money invested in some land that they can have and say that that is their land. Somebody is up. Okay. It's not one of the kids, but they may be up. What?
I'll run to my bank before it closes. I'll be back.
I took the computer apart.
Okay.
Okay.
Deal with it when I get back.
Okay. Bank. Oh yeah, it is Saturday. The bank's gonna close early. Today's society know nothing about growing food, sewing, building, etc. My grandparents knew about these things, but the future generation I feel fear for. Yes, being set free. Yahweh sent me to you so I can glean on that wisdom. Yes, girl. A lot of people coming here, not, I don't know everybody, and it's definitely divine. Definitely. And I don't stare people wrong. I'm not going to come in here and talk about anything that I don't know because, I don't know. I don't know everything, but there are some things that I do know. Even if it's something that, an air, we aired on, I can tell you, oh, you know what, I did this and it turned out not to be the right thing. I could have done this and this would have happened. So, somebody up sees. Somebody's up. See a head back there. Yeah, he's getting ready to go to the bank before it closes. So, I think the kids will probably be up in a minute. Something else I wanted to talk about. I have does anybody, I know everybody has children, but anybody have children that have chronic ear infections? Call me a sponge then. We learn from each other. Humility is key. Yes, ma'am, Leslie. Call me a sponge. And that's how I do when I get on here. I just, I listen to people, and to say, some things I may not know. Some things I know. Some things I know that, okay, that doesn't sound right. Like this home buying thing. I hear a lot of families, they get into this idea into their head. We're going to go buy a home. I'm going to go to work. And I'm just like, you getting ready to do all that this year? That's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. And I want to offer advice and say, that's you're setting yourself up to fail already. I heard somebody say, oh, we're going to put the child in a private school. Okay, you're going to go to work because you're at home and you need income, you want an income, but then you're going to put the child in a private school? What? Is the private school free? You need a new income so you can go buy a house. That it just is not. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I used to have chronic ear infections. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get an idea. I have a video that I need to. I've been trying for years, seriously, years to get this up, and the goal was to do it in December. It's gonna be a collab, not that kind of collab, y'all. But my daughter, one of my kids, and I have something, and I know it's going to help people. I really do. I've never, heard anybody, but the thing is, she's older now, And so it's going to be a two-part thing. And I don't know, I might hold off for the summer when she's back and we can do it together. But she was telling me recently that she had some time. So I don't know, because they were snowed in for the week. I don't know if she actually did her part. But this is something that happened 20 years ago. I have to show you guys something. So, yeah. It'll definitely help. I never know, certain videos, like when I did the cultural kids review, I get a lot of thank yous on that video for that product. And, it wasn't sponsored. It's just the issue we dealt with. And, some people just don't know. So, yeah, I have some things coming up like that I want to present. So, yeah, I want her to give her, I don't know what happened. We just got so busy doing other stuff, and we just did not sit down to record that. But, the impact, I wanted to tell the impact of what we had to go through, because it was a lot, and none of my other kids had to go through it. And some foul person was talking about the other day, speech problems, the kids' speech problems. And I'm like, how you know my kids haven't had therapy? I spoke about one, but how do you know how many of my kids, have not had therapy for this, that, and the other? Okay? I only mentioned one, but that was the reason why I spoke on it. I have another one coming up. I see a lot of issues with nursing and babies not having, the moms having problems nursing the baby. Oh, we don't want to put the child through the surgery, frenulumectomy. We don't want to do that. It's this and it's that. And it's like, do you realize that child, or, tongue-tied, lip-tied, that's probably what you guys know, is going to grow up with speech problems. So you're setting your child up to be teased. That's selfish. That procedure is so easy. So I prevented speech problems. Okay? I prevented them. But it was due to my, my diligence that got that done. So, yeah. People are always going to be negative. People have some serious issues. Yeah, they do. Let's sit back. Let's see. Hey, sit back. Your job is to take care of your kids unless you want to pay somebody else to do it. It's your job. Yeah. Speech has to be addressed ASAP. Yeah, it does. And the thing is, because I'm so far removed from BS. Okay, I'm immune to it. But I got to thinking. I say, okay, now I get it. This YouTube thing, people come here because they want their ego stroked. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day over the phone. And it just was, and I said, yeah, I just had that aha moment. They want their ego stroked. I said, wait a minute. Do you come before the world and you want your ego stroked? You in the wrong place. The wrong place. You're in denial. You don't want people to tell you that something may be wrong with your child. I get that. That's a hard pill to swallow. But if somebody knows something and you don't know, and they can offer help or some direction, shut your mouth and take the help. Because sometimes everybody needs help. I can get, like I say, I can come on here and hear some things from somebody that I didn't know. And it's like, okay, thank you. That's just what I needed. I had no idea. That was the whole reason why I started the channel. I go through some things and I was looking for somebody that I could really relate to, on certain aspects. And they can say, I've been through this. I've experienced this. Even if uh, they came out of it in a roundabout way, they can say, hey, don't do this because this is what I did and this didn't work. I had to go back and redo this. I had to relearn this. That's why I'm here. Jesus was persecuted, lied on, betrayed, stole from, scorned, crucified. Do you think he worried about his ego? He kept it moving. And that's what I do. I know people in families like that, they still have yet to address the problem. Yeah. So you can't come on here. You're not Jesus. You're not that status. So yeah. Your ego is not going to be stroked on here. I'm not going to pat you on the back. If I notice something, somebody say something, because I'm not the one saying it. I see other people. People are cruel. They point out the smallest things. And I'm like, really? I'm picking up from, girl, did you see so-and-so? And I'm like, you saw all that? I didn't see that. You must have been looking very hard in that video. I didn't see that at all. And pick up the phone, the next person, girl, did you see? And I'm like, wait a minute. Is that what we're about over here? So, yeah. You're not on here to have your ego stroked at all. This is not the place to do it. Well, yes, they do. Girl, yeah. And you see something over here, you only see a little bit. You don't see anything, really. Just a little bit of something. You get more information from me talking to you like this than you get from a vlog. Not that I'm scripting vlogs or anything, but, it is what it is. You're going to see real life. You're going to see the same thing you see in your vlog. That's why I said I'm not editing anything, because editing is not what happens in your house. Things are not edited. Situations are not edited. If the child has spilled some milk on the floor, you're going to see the child spill some milk on the floor over here. If disciplinary action is the result of that, you're going to see that over here. It's real life. I'm not yelling at my kids. That's just how I react to things. In your house, you might yell at your kids. I see it all the time. I'm not calling people out because of it. That's just not me. But, yeah, it's crazy. So hopefully, I will get, like I said, some of these topics I will get up. I may come back later on today. I don't know. It just depends on what's going on. Let me see. What I want to discuss is curriculum. There, Sylvia says there's a vlogger I watch and are for ever criticizing her. Yes. Yeah. People are always going to talk. They're going to criticize. They're going to. That's just people. And that's because they're insecure in their own. That's why that person was attacking me. Insecure in their own. That person, child, have speech issues. That person, the topic I was talking about, hit home because that's what they deal with. And they don't have the knowledge. Okay? They don't have the knowledge. Like I said, people are going to gravitate towards what they want and what they need. If I'm sitting here talking about something that somebody wants, the information, they're going to sit here. They're going to listen to it. They're going to take it in, walk away with what they need, and go apply it. If not, you don't know what you're talking about. Who are you? Okay, just because you don't need the information, somebody does, and they're going to sit here and it's worth their time. And that's why I love you. You definitely keep it real. Thank you, love. Being Set Free says, I pulled back from YouTube because of all the comparisons and the competitive attitudes. Yeah, I just do you. You know, people asking people, well, how you discipline your kids? Don't do that. You know, you're not going to hear me talking about that, but I get phone, girl, so and so did you? I see it. I can't say anything. I will not say anything. It's just like, yeah, I saw it. I saw it. You know, uh, that's not me. That's not my business, my place, or anything. It's like, well, that's what they do in their house. It works for them. I know the result. I know the dangers. I know how the child going to end up, but that's nobody's business. There's other things to do in life than to sit there and talk about people. You know, just like, again, Jesus was persecuted, lied on, talked about, backstabbed, crucified. He kept going. We got to have another mission in life than to tear each other down. You know, and honestly, nobody is looking at you that hard. You know, the child to my, oh, your head, your night scarf. It's not my night scarf, but guess what? So what if it was? I seen people come on here with their bras on, their drawers on, their pajamas on, holes in their clothes, just all kind of stuff. Their kids looking, you know, whatever. So what? You know, I have some sort of decency. My face is not on. That's on purpose. I'm clean. You know, even if I hadn't taken a shower, you know, I have some sort of couth about me. But there are people that come on here. Let me stop. They have on, when I see the cleavage out, that's one thing that gets me. You can have the best message in the world, but if your cleavage is hanging out as a woman, I think that's a no-no, because you got perverts on here watching, okay? Don't do that. I might have on the same shirt as yesterday, but it's clean. Even if it's not, I'm not showing my business. Okay? So, yeah. Some people just, they don't care. They just come on here any kind of way. And people looking at it and they overlook it. But the good things and the good people, those are the ones they want to attack. So, it's crazy. Who cares what's on somebody's head? I never thought about that. Girl, yeah. My stuff is satin or silk at night, but that's besides the point. It is besides the point. You know what I look like. If I want to get up and put on my face and do my hair and all that, you know what I look like. Sometimes a lot of this is on purpose because I don't want that to be a distraction. The reality is, y'all are not made up. I know how y'all look. If you are, that means you took the time, you made that little time. I make my time. I was sitting here thinking yesterday, somebody is persecuting me because I'm doing this book haul and my nails are not done. They got too much time on their hands. Too much time. People pick over the smallest little things. You know, or because I won't grow my nails. I got a story about that. When I was in high school, that's been something I was a nail biter when I was little. And my mom would always say, oh, grow your nails out, girl. Once I got older, you know, teenagers, grow your nails out, stop biting nails. I stopped, but, you know, they would just be short. I would trim them down or whatever. And then this thing where the nail shop popped up. My little girlfriends was going to get their nails done and this, that, and the other. I grew my nails out. I have a secret to growing my nails out. I can do it now, but I have the girls' hair. So I learned when I had the older girls, I couldn't do it. And I told you guys yesterday about being a neighborhood hairstylist. I couldn't keep my nails. But I remember when I was in the 10th grade, my friend say, girl, who did your French manicure? Y'all. The only thing I knew about French was French fries. I couldn't afford French nothing. I knew how to spell manicure, but I sure couldn't afford it. I said, French manicure, what's that? I didn't know. Y'all, I didn't know. For real, okay? My nails were just that pretty. And I said, no, this is what I did to grow my nails out. And my mom had really pretty nails. I mean, just beautiful, long, they were clean. And I guess that's where I got my nail fetish from. I don't know. But, yeah. So I was like, here, I grew my nails out. See? But, yeah, y'all, I didn't know nothing about no French manicure, but they swore up and down. And I was like, no, see, look, these are my nails. These are my nails. And then I learned what it was. And I'm like, y'all must don't know. I'm from a single family, or a single parent home. We can't afford that. And, yeah, they were from a different world. But I'm like, no. So, yeah, they will pick. They will pick and pull you apart. Girl, I'm forever in my hair body. Yes, girl. Yes. And that's why I like you, because you keep it real. My crochet braids were very long. It would be all over my face. Girl, yes. You got to do what you got to do. YouTube is a hot mess. Yes, learn. There are some good gems. Girl, yeah, there are some gems. So, yeah. But yeah, I digress. Yeah. I said somebody looking at me, the girl didn't do her nails and all kind of stuff. But yeah, I have a secret to that. When I would tell people about it and they did it and it actually worked, they was like, oh, thank you. I don't have to go to the nail shop. I think I did that twice because I just wanted to know what it was. But I don't have no money like that. The nails done popped off. I'm scared of the germs and stuff, for one. But, I just got my nails done and it popped off. And I'm like, what? You spent all that money? What? Who has that money? So, I'm going to do my own nails. And, yeah, trust me, if I'm not approving them comments, I probably see something like that. And I don't see that. Yeah, you will notice that. And I used to keep them done, and I would point that out. But some people, my nails polished chipping, and then there goes somebody comment, why your nail chipping, your polish look ragged. Is that why you there, to judge that woman polish? Yes, you're going to notice things. Oh, that's a pretty color. Or that's my favorite color. Yeah, you're going to notice things, but that's not something you should be talking about. That's not what, the message. She didn't get on there. Let's talk about my nail polish. I still follow that to this day. Bite your tongue or something. Exactly. Bite your tongue. Hold your peace. So I say I don't leave too many footprints on here. I just sit back and ponder. I ponder. Okay, I ponder. If I see somebody that I recognize, I'll get with them on the low and be like, look, this is my thoughts on this. This is why you won't see this on my channel. In fact, I did that yesterday. Okay, I did. Michaela asked, why is your channel called Mocha Mommy? She wants to know if you like coffee a lot. I like coffee. That's not why. Mocha, mocha is swirl brown. It's a mixture. And so that's what I am. What else? Of course, I'm a mom. The 7, somebody picked up on this, and I was going to talk about this. Somebody picked up on it a long time ago, and they said your name fits you perfectly. 7 is the completion, the number of completion, spiritual completion. And so, yeah, it has nothing to do with the number of children or anything, but somebody was like, yeah, your name fits you so perfectly. And I'm like, yeah, I might have had something else, but in mind, but this is what fit. So, yeah, if you're into numbers and know anything about that, 7 is basically all over the Bible, all over, So a couple of numbers that mean a lot, but 7. 6 days, 7th day he rested. So that is why. But girl, yeah, I do drink coffee, I drink tea, I drink water. So not really mocha because of coffee. I'm not a what is all that mocha frappuccino? I'm lactose, so I don't do all of that. It just be straight black coffee if it's coffee. So, but yeah. I'm like, well, hello, hopping on here to tell you, thank you for sharing your knowledge and hard work. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. For real. I really appreciate that. Um, I'm me. Michaela loves your channel. She wants to meet your kids. Girl, yes, we really do have to get together. We really do. Um, we'll make it happen. I have to slow down and we're going to have to catch up and stuff. I'm new to homeschooling. Wow, well, welcome. But what I was getting ready to say, I want to get in. If I don't come back later on, it'll be tomorrow's chat. I want to talk about curriculum, what makes you choose certain curriculum. What are the factors? There are different factors. It's a case by case scenario for everybody. You all know how I scrutinize things. I have no guilt, no shame, or no whatever. But when I'm doing this, I'm researching things for a long time, years even. And I'm not just looking at the last thing I look at is somebody's review, because I'm going to get into this tomorrow. But you will see all of this rave to this curriculum, certain curriculums. It's just a rave, a rave, a rave. And then I'm wondering, okay, is it secular or is it biblical? And the people I know that are faith-based, that say they are steadfast in their faith, and I'm looking at this biblical, okay, because we know biblical is a wide spectrum, okay? How biblical is that curriculum? How biblical is your faith? And then I see, well, wait a minute. This denomination is where this person is from that designed this, or this publisher, or what have you. You don't believe in that. Why would you choose that? That does not make any sense. Okay? I'm looking at the people's background, their educational background. Where did they go to school? These people that are developing this curriculum. What did they learn? What were they taught? Do they have children? Who are the psychologists that had hands in this curriculum? That's how I look at curriculum. Not because it's cheap, not because it's popular, not because of somebody's review, because their reasons for choosing are not my reasons. I can look at it. I can look at 4 or 5 things, and a lot of times the reviews are incomplete. And it's like, I've seen enough because what I've seen is enough bad to say I can't, it's bad. I can tell just from these couple that I saw that it's bad. There's something wrong with it. So I want to get into that tomorrow, or maybe later on today if I come back on here. Because that really gives people insight, especially new, that don't have any direction. That's, you have no clue. You have no clue in what to do, how to decide what to pick, because there's so many options and it's so overwhelming. It's like, what do I do? How do I start? Yes, that is some of my confusion about curriculum. Yeah. And somebody asked me in the community poll, somebody asked the question, how did I start homeschooling? So I think I'm going to address that one, how I started, just, what I did. And it's surprisingly easy. It's not something that anybody cannot do, but because of all of the information here, it's information overload right here on YouTube. And it's a good thing, but if you don't know how to weed that stuff out, you still have no direction with all of the reviews, all of the videos, all of the this and the that. You watch it all, you read it all, and you don't know what to do with it. That was one of my videos a couple years back. I talked about how to watch these videos, what to look for, and The same thing. If you wanted to start a channel, how to start that channel, how you need to present that channel. That wasn't based on, I want no competition. Nobody can compete with me. Nobody can compete with anybody because everybody's here on their own. And homeschooling is unique to the own family, regardless. You know, nobody has the same this, that, and the other. So I don't worry about that competition. People will try. You cannot imitate. You can't. All my kids are different. All your kids are different. I don't care if we had the same curriculum and we were on the same page every day. It's going to be different because we're different. Period. So that is so true. Being set free said that is why we as homeschoolers must have discernment when picking curriculum. The Bible must be a foundation for all our decisions. Yes, and some people don't even know how to apply that. That is that message video coming up. And that's just general. It's not just homeschooling, but parenting in general. Love for All said that is so true. Sylvia says, yes, partial homeschooling my oldest daughter and my 2-year-old. She gets a complete homeschool. Yes, do that video. Yeah. So I have to come back later on, or in the morning and I want to toss some ideas around. I talked about writing a curriculum for us. And that's where I need some excuse me, I need some outside what are you all looking for? I know what I'm capable of. And see, when I say I'm writing something, it's because I can't find it anywhere else. So they say if you can't find a good book, you have to write it. So I'm looking at what do you want? And I'm not one to do things cheap or halfway. So this is not something easy. It's not something that's going to happen in a couple of months. It's taking me a while, and I'm okay with that. But, I like to get, other people's input and things like that because that helps me in my ideas and my thought process. If you want something to open and go, I can do that too. I see a lot of people putting out big bucks on these big curriculums, and then they are having to supplement heavily. They're having to modify. And I'm like, what? You just spent all that money on this big curriculum, and you have to supplement? You have to modify? Oh, no, I can't. If I'm paying the money for it, if it's worth it, I'm going to buy it. I'm not always about cheap and because it's this and that. If it's worth it, I'm going to put my money into it. I'm going to find that money and put it into it. It's going to do what it needs to do for me. But I'm not going to touch it. It's going to be used as it was intended. And then maybe I can add something, use it a different way, but I'm not adding per se. I'm not having to go pull other sources. I'm not doing that because I paid my money for this thing to work. Some people don't care. They pay their money and then they have to go supplement here and supplement there. And I'm like, you just made the wrong decision. You could have took your time. It's just like I talked about earlier, buying a computer, buying a phone. If you really took the time, you would have saved that money, sunk a little more money into the investment and got what you needed rather than having to outgrow. Same thing with the house. Put a little more money into it, get what you need so it'll last longer. So anyway, I am nearing the 10 o'clock mark and I'm getting ready to hop off of here. Oh, goodness. No, 11 o'clock. It's already 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock mark. I appreciate all of you that came on here today. Hopefully you were able to take some things away. And like I said, I will be back. And it'll probably, I'll try to do like an hour notice, 30-minute notice, so that you get a heads up. If not, and a notification comes up tonight, it'll be in the morning, that I actually come on. It's kind of hard because when we set these chats, we can't do like 15 minutes, 45 minutes after the hour. We get, And sometimes if it takes me a minute to set up, to get this thing, I'm a little delayed. But in any case, I can tap into the chat and type something so you can read. We can chat without me actually being, face to face. So, any kind of message or something, I'll just leave it there in the chat. But other than that, there's any other questions, anything, just anything, ask me, because you never know, I may have it, some kind of insight. If not, I can point you somewhere and say, hey, maybe this will help you. So thank you all. Be blessed and stay in good health. A black will, my problem is doing things in a proper learning order. Yes, so you want to definitely set that notification bell and make sure you come back, because yeah, I will definitely address that. I will address that for sure. Definitely. All right. Good afternoon.